everyone.
Hello.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Marcella.
And we are coming to you live from the library at Palette
Cafe, that is.
Yes. So you may be asking yourself, what are we doing here? What am I doing here?
What am I doing?
Maybe you're talking about Palette. Maybe you're talking about us. Like, why is this baby here? Well, the baby is forced to come with me everywhere we go.
It's a real baby.
It's a real baby. She's 4 months old now. Isn't that crazy?
It is really crazy.
Oh, anyway, let's be real. Life is a journey, and it ain't easy. And so that's what we're here about. We're here to talk about it. We talk about we could talk about how Palette came about. We could talk about so many opportunities that just presented themselves to us, and we took advantage of them somehow. Hi, Camille. She's here, and
Camille's
she's here.
Camille joined us. I love it. I know, it is why we're here. Like, so many things have collided for the two of us to be in this place, and for all of our members, and like even the people who are out working in the cafe right now to be here at this moment. And it's really exciting.
Yeah. So while we're talking amongst ourselves, the three of us, if you have any questions, comment below. If you've been wondering how the hell I'm doing all this stuff, be sure to comment below and I will tell you all about it. I have no filter. That is one of my many characteristics. So I will tell it like it is. I mean, that's just, I don't know any other way to be.
It's true. It's a good way to be. I love that the baby ear keeps popping in and out of.
Yeah. This is our first time going live.
We're not nervous.
We totally rallied. Within minutes, we hurried up and got it together. So.
Yes, because you know what? I think our theme that we kind of talked about today is about the magic and power of showing up. And so we did.
Yeah, I mean, well, the biggest thing for me that has happened, I mean, it's especially a part of this whole journey, it's like you have an idea and you think about it and you ruminate about it over and over and over and over again. And I would keep doing that until I finally just was like, no, what, screw it. We're going to set a date and that's when we're going to do this. And so we decided. We have been wanting to talk to our fans and all of our people that are following our story here. And I am just so much better speaking from my, rather than sending a letter, an email or anything. So we were like, just screw it. Let's just go live because that's what the people are doing.
Give the people what they want, Catherine.
People what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Exactly. So what we would like to do, our intention is to be live every week. Hopefully, maybe Thursday at 11, if that time is good for, hey, Renee, I see you. I see you creeping. Ask us a question. Renee's one of our members here at Palette.
She's amazing.
She's an amazing problem solver of all the things related to accounting.
And life.
Also, she helped me start Paint Sip, which is the predecessor of Palette. And I swear I would not know what to do without her and the team over there. So
that's a good transition, actually. I think that Catherine should tell us a little bit about who she is. Because, I know.
Yes, you do. Okay, so my name is Catherine, and I moved here from New Orleans for my husband's job in 2011. And right when we got here, we were enamored with Saratoga. I mean, it's just such a cute town, and we moved right downtown. And so the plan was to work up here for 5 years, then move right back home. And the trajectory of that plan changed drastically when we opened Paint and Sip a year later. So we opened Paint and Sip in April 2012, and really just because it wasn't here yet. And I felt so excited to introduce the whole concept of painting and drinking and, hanging out socially, gathering and creating art together, that we opened it. And then since then we opened 2 more locations. And so from there, I definitely had children during that period of time.
1 or 3.
1 or 3. So I have 2 older girls in addition to this one who's mean mugging. But basically, through the course of becoming a mom and also being a business owner, I started to just feel this real sense of need for a village to help me do all of the things. Because when you're a woman in business, chances are high that you're also taking care of a loved one, child, parents. It's not just you're going to work and you're coming home. And so it's never just about work. You know, even when we're talking about work, it's like, well, you know, before I got here, I had to deal with kids and get them on the bus. And so it's always a mixed bag. And I find that sharing that challenge and also the successes, sometimes, you know, like, oh my God, we got the kid on the bus and we got that kid to school and we got this kid still living. So that's good. And you got to celebrate that with people. So I had this another idea that I thought, like, I needed to create the physical space for the community that I wish I had in my life. And it's so true. Like, when you build it, they come. I mean, I would say the majority of the people who are members here, we didn't even know before Palette.
There's
a
lot
crazy.
of them. Yeah.
They're like the coolest people.
They are.
So I think I got that. Like, did I cover it all?
Yes.
Well,
I think so. Well, you got she got the basics.
You got the basics.
She got the basics.
Yeah.
So I guess I should introduce myself.
Yes.
I'm Marcella.
Who are you?
Very tall, very orange. I'm actually from Saratoga Springs. I grew up here, and it's a pretty amazing little city, even though I hated it as a teenager. You're a teenager. What's there to be happy about? I went to college in Boston. I kind of bopped around a little bit, and like most human beings, all of my best laid plans, like, really didn't happen. I've always been creative, and I love making connections with people, and I've always had this interest in business, and I've had the skill that I can talk to anybody. I'm a complete introvert, but I can talk to anybody. And I went to school for writing and publishing, never did that. Worked in nonprofits, worked in a restaurant, did a marketing and design business with my sister. And I mean, I guess that's all the business stuff. I feel like I lead with the business stuff all the time because, like, business in the front, party in the back as a lifestyle.
Well, I mean, so we met at Paint and Sip. So I would say, like, a couple months after we opened Paint and Sip, that was like April 2012, you and Lindsay, Marcella's sister, had just moved back from San Francisco. And Lindsay, you know, applied to work at Paint and Sip, and she started. And then I remember her saying, like, my sister is also an artist, and she could paint, and, you know, and I was like, I don't know about that. You know, like, hiring sisters, I was very, you know,
weary.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, I don't think so. But eventually, you were hanging out a lot at Paint and Sip, and we got to know you.
I charmed you.
And you charmed me, yes, with your magic. So then Marcella started working for us too, and Lindsay and Marcella are like the real life Anna and Elsa.
Literally.
I remember when that movie came out, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, it's just like Anna.
Yeah.
It's like Lindsay.
I very much see myself in that movie.
So basically, Marcella boomeranged to me back to. So when my 5-year-old was a year old, you gave me a 3-month notice. A whole 3-month notice.
And flowers,
yeah. And I was like, oh God, she's quitting. And well, you weren't quitting immediately, but you know, you gave me the notice and I was devastated. But you know, part of being an awesome place to work and an awesome person to work for, this sounds like really ego, but you know, you have to let your team fly free. Gretchen did that, you did that, and you know, you just go, I was devastated though, because Marcella was incredible, Gretchen was incredible. I couldn't have done Paint and Sip without them. And so to have to plan to take over like the reins again. And at that time, we had 3 locations, 3 Paint and Sip studios. So it was a big undertaking to like take over that again. But yeah, you went and did your own thing. And then
you like an eagle, and then I crashed.
No, it's not funny that she crashed, but I am selfishly ecstatic how things worked out because now she's here. And that was like kind of a special undertaking of like, I kind of got wind that Marcella's business was closing, decidedly closing, didn't crash and burn. You decided to close. Yeah. And I called her and I was like, okay, so what are you doing now? I have this really crazy idea. I want to build a cafe. I want to build a co-working-ish space so that we can all just collaborate and come together. And honestly, I was feeling like I deserved a better coffee experience when I'm meeting with people to have like intense or serious conversations. I didn't, I wanted a sense of intimacy and privacy in a coffee shop, but I also want to get good coffee. And so if you haven't seen photos of Palette, I mean, it's very whimsical, space, bright, bold, and female focused. But there's actually a man here right now. Can you believe it? It's
Maybe
not.
if you listen hard enough, you can hear.
It's not just for women. It's for emotionally evolved men also. So I pitched this whole idea to Marcella right when she had decided to close down the nail bar, and she was like, I don't know, I don't really want to go backwards in life, you know, like I worked for you, I did that, I want to move forward, I want to do my own thing. And I was like, okay, I understand. It would totally be awesome if you worked here and helped me do this, but whatever. So do you like meditate on it or something?
Oh, I did.
Did you do that
So
stuff?
I started like a mantra meditation thing, and it was like a 40-day series, and it was supposed to help me like find my path and my prosperity and all of that stuff. So I started it, and on the 40th day, I got a phone call from Catherine about like something completely like half Palette, half unrelated.
Oh, because you were actively looking for a job, and I got wind of a position that I thought
that was
you
the
might
second
like.
40 days.
Oh, that was the second.
So the first 40 days, I got a phone call from Catherine. Like we had a really wonderful conversation and like talked about some stuff and kept her meditation on. 40 days later, she called me again, and she's like, oh, I have this opportunity. Maybe it'll be a perfect fit for you. And it really was like a wonderful position. And I turned it down and cried.
And I was like kind of annoyed. I mean, I was really annoyed because I had like sold Marcella to this company, and I was like, she's gonna be great. I actually want her to work for me, but she won't work for me. I don't know why. I don't understand. And so, I mean, we went through this like, I guess for.
And then in the third 40 days, literally on the day, Catherine called me
That
again.
is some creepy.
It was
magic.
so creepy, but it
I don't know
was like everything lined up.
Yeah.
And that was the day you showed me the space here, and it felt like people throw around the words like fate and dharma and all of that, and it really felt like I was exactly where I needed to be. And I wasn't ready on the 40th day, and I wasn't ready on the 80th day, but like all of a sudden, this was like who I was on that day. And here I am.
It's so weird, but also awesome, because looking back, there's no way in hell I could have done this without your help. I mean, we opened. What's the day? Today's December
12.
Oh, 12.
It's very soon going to be 12 o'clock.
No, it's not 12. No, it's 12, 2019.
19.
I am a total ditz.
No,
most
we're just
of the
like
time.
living in the moment.
Anyway, I'm just very exhausted also, because this is, so we opened the cafe June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I had her on August 10th, and then we opened the upstairs November 7th.
Yes.
And then we went to Disney World because I felt like I didn't show. She didn't go. I'm a Disney fanatic. Yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to do it without like the hands-on logistical magician skills that you possess.
So technically my title here that's on my business card is Resident Unicorn, and that really is most applicable.
Yes. So, and I'm purveyor of fun because I bring the fun. I bring the party.
You bring the party.
Yeah. And then Marcel just makes sense of it.
Yeah, I sprinkle the magic.
Yeah.
And then it all makes sense.
Yes. Okay, what else? I wanted to talk about, I don't know, I'm just.
We want to talk about why we're going to do this, like every week, and what we're hoping to share.
Well, mainly because like I want to make sure people are getting the accurate story here, that we're not it's not a girl club. It's not like a bunch of girls who are getting together and, like gossiping or any of that girl stuff. This is like legit women who are coming together, who have goals, who in life and in business, so some of them are launching their business, some are career shifting, some just want a physical space to work from, others just want to be supportive of the mission that we hold for ourselves, to support each other in life. And I mean, some people want to just lose some weight, which is a really tough thing to do when you're by yourself, but when you're with a group of people who all know these goals and all want to help you, it's so much more fun that way. It's just more fun when you have people physically here supporting you.
It's so true.
No judgment, no like
Mean girls
no. Allowed, right?
None of that.
So in the course of like opening the cafe, I had always wanted to do this upstairs space. And while we were doing the demo, we knocked down a wall where there was a fitting room because it was a clothing store before we opened the cafe. And there was a set of stairs. And I took that as, I've never been one of these people that like gooey, like, what do you call it? Like crystals and
woo-woo.
Energy, woo-woo. Yeah. I've never been one of those people. But like literally all of this is like hitting me like a brick over the head because these things just keep happening. Like Marcella kept on reappearing. The stairs appeared. I'm like, okay, so we need to take on the upstairs also. So the space was available. We talked to the landlord and we got it all kind of like worked out. And I found this like another similar business in Montana called Sky Oro, which you should look them up. They're incredible human beings. And they crowdfunded, they raised capital by pre-selling memberships to their space. And so I picked up the phone and I called them and I was like, hey, I want to do exactly what you're doing across the country. Tell me all of your ways. And they said basically like, you don't need anybody else's help to do this. You are a physical cafe space that exists. You should just hold an event and tell people what it is you want to do. And that to me, that scared the shit out of me because I was like, just it's a nervous wreck to put yourself out there. I've never been so like vulnerable and like, I felt like who in their right mind would pre-purchase a membership to a space that wasn't open yet. And her name is Amanda. She's like, seriously, people buy condos sight unseen. Like if people meet you, they hear your story, you're not, you're in the community, they'll show up for you. And that is exactly like what happened. I mean, we announced the event through email and through Facebook and all this kind of stuff to tell people that we're doing this event. And that was on July 31st. And let me remind you, we had Zia August 10th. So I was hugely pregnant. And I just kind of like put together, like and people showed up. There was like 45 people here. It was crazy. I was like so nervous that no one would show up. And then
they showed up.
People showed up and 10 people joined that night after hearing what my plans were for the upstairs space. And it was just the most validating experience of my life. And just goes to show if you put yourself out there, if you are honest with yourself, honest with people, and you just tell people what's in your head, chances are very high that there are going to be a humongous group of like tons of people who are thinking the exact same thing, who want the same thing in your very own community. And so it's just been the coolest thing to have these people join it. And a lot of them, I would say the majority of the people who joined that night, I didn't know Jess. Kim Irish did. I mean, I knew of Kim, but now we really know Kim. Robin. I mean, there's just so many people that were there that night that came for it, and it was incredible.
It was really magical. That's a little woo-woo sounding. It was really powerful.
We use words like magical, because it's crazy. I mean, that's what happens when you bring people together that all have the same common goal, that are all trying to do the same thing, positive. That's what happens. I mean, and that's kind of like also what happens at Paint and Sip. You walk into Paint and Sip, you're kind of nervous, you're apprehensive about like what may happen, but like nothing bad happens. You're literally just painting on a canvas.
It's true.
But everyone's leveled out. Everyone's on the same playing field. Everyone's starting with blank canvas, and at the end of the night, it's like high fives and hugs and woo-woo, because it's like you feel so accomplished. And that's what we're doing here now without the painting, without the messiness.
No messes.
Of painting.
No messes. So we have questions. And one of the reasons that we wanted to do this sort of live session is to be able to address questions that are either asked to Catherine, or if you have questions, you can ask us in the comments, and we have some of those, and I know you're excited to answer them. And so our first question comes from the amazing Becky.
Becky?
She's amazing. So Becky's question is, what surprised you most since opening? And that's for you. What was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise was like the amount of people I didn't know that now I know. Does that make sense? Like, not that I thought I knew everyone in town, but Saratoga is a small town,
Mm-hmm.
and you think you're like in this bubble, and you think that you know, the only way that I can describe it is like an orbit, right? Like you have the same people in your orbit, and you just see all those same people all the time, and they're great, you know. But that first event that we did, and there was just like strangers showed up, and it made me so much more nervous to put myself out there. But then those strangers joined, you know, and a lot of. I'm not saying I don't have friends that support me; they do, but it was surprising to me that people I didn't know really came together and to support me. And so like that would be the biggest like aha was like, oh my god, there are like these are my people and they're out there and I didn't know them before. And so it's magical to kind of like just experience that. And every time I come into the space and I see like these, you know, like people I just had never met before, and we have so much in common, and it's so cool.
It is really cool. And I really think that that speaks to the strength of the idea here, and also to something that I think a lot of women in business experience, which is that when you start a business, you always anticipate that the first line of people like in line will be your friends and family. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. But it is really those strangers that you meet and connect with who help you to define like what the business is and what it's going to be, because they're not coming in with these preconceived notions.
Yeah.
They're listening to you. And they're experiencing what you've created with none of that like personal connection that can sometimes, you know, when your family comes to visit, like we just, they have preconceived notions.
Well, holidays are coming up, so
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually a really great topic because you know a lot of times you holidays and you're triggered by families, and I mean, I will like go ahead and say like my brother is never gonna think anything besides I'm his little sister, you know, like I'll always be his annoying little sister to him. So I think it's probably hard for him to, you know, see me out in the world and a big person, you know, like a big girl, right, and doing things. And so yeah, it's crazy how you just I come from a place where like, you know, you support your family no matter what, you support your family, but it's been really eye-opening to see the support that is not family and that is not close friends that I talk to, that I had talked to every day. I mean, even like because of the holidays, I'm like reminiscing of like last Christmas when I was like really in the thick of planning this, but no one knew about it. It was like I was harboring this, you know, idea and telling really just like Mark and me talking about it. And I think when you share it with people and it's not like a physical thing yet, it's intimidating for, you know, like, I mean, obviously you're gonna have people who are like, well, are you for real? Is that gonna happen? You know, and so it's cool to now be like a year out, like, and this is all here and not just in my brain anymore.
It's a real place.
It's a real place
where people can sit,
yes,
live, and work,
and share,
amazing
and yeah,
things.
and just like you share. Like you're not the only. You always seem so alone. Like even being a business owner is very isolating, and you think, shh, what did you want to talk? Did you want to say something? I think she's okay. I think she's okay. She just wanted to say hello. I think as a business owner, you start to get into this like isolating place where you know, you think you're the only one going through it, and it's so not true. Like everyone is going through this. Everyone goes through this, like these imposter syndromes where you're just like, is this for real? Like, am I doing this? Am I the one in charge of all this? Like, buck stops with you. I mean, anyone that's making six figures, that's not making anything, either way, you're in this position of, you know, you feel isolated. And I think just having a space to come to, familiar faces that can support you without any preconceived notions, without any judgment, and they just want to see you succeed. It's magic.
It is magic. And for me, it's been life-changing also, because I really had that experience as well where, you know, in business and in life, like you just feel alone. Like you're the only one fighting the battle, and like you can understand that there's other people who are struggling and maybe doing the same things or maybe doing something a little bit different. And I think a lot of women with families, like I don't have children, but I can imagine how that would feel to know that you're accountable for like human lives or a business or a payroll or anything like that, and you feel completely isolated. And I always I think about like Brene Brown and the limiting belief that I have, that I learned after reading her books. And it's that I have a limiting belief that I think no one wants to help me. And I think a lot of women kind of carry the burden of that, where they think they're in it alone. And no one wants to help them and they got to do it themselves and push through it. And I've been completely transformed by being here and working here and unicorning here and having this like community support without mean girls and with just like knowing that other people have that belief that no one wants to help them, but I do, and you do,
Well,
and people want to help me.
Yeah, what's crazy is that like if you were ever brought a problem from anybody, you know, the first reaction you have is to help them, and everyone wants to help. I mean, it literally makes you feel like a better person to help people. So it's my currency. I love when people come to me with a problem because I just like want to help them figure it out. And again, it's easier to do it when you're doing it with people that have a different perspective, that, you know, sometimes the perspective is more positive, sometimes it's more realistic, you know, so it's cool. And, you know, the other thing I wanted to touch on is like the fact that you think you don't have anything in common with another person. Like Marcella is not married. Well, this is, you know, you're not married. You don't have kids.
I don't have kids.
You're not a business owner.
No.
I have 3 kids. I'm married. I have 2 businesses. I have so much going on. And so many of us think like, oh, well, I would never have anything in common with somebody that doesn't have the same circumstances I do. And it's just not true. And it's like we all have so much more in common than we give ourselves credit for. I mean, we're just, the main thing is that we're both women. And a lot of what we deal with on a day-to-day is universal, even though we have very different lifestyles.
Yeah, we do have a lot in common. It's kind of surprising. Okay, so we're keeping it open. If anyone has any questions, like hit us up in the comments there. And I'm going
to go pass the baby off.
Oh yeah, pass that baby. And I'm going to keep talking to you because I can. We have a lot of questions that Catherine gets like often, whether they're about the business or about the space or about like her human personal self. And
oh look, I have my Spice Girl shirt on. It's my favorite.
Spice Girls are amazing. Can we just address that?
Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Okay, so I'm kind of like obsessed with this Instagram account that's like all these old 90s photos from like the ancient days of the 1990s of my youth. And I always used to think my favorite Spice Girl was Ginger Spice because red hair. But I think it's Victoria Beckham. I love her. I keep seeing all these pictures of her from like the 90s with David Beckham, and you know, he sure had a glow up since the 90s, let's just put it that way. And I don't know, there's something about her now that like I'm more drawn to. Maybe it's her conservative style because I'm so conservative personally. Just kidding. How about you?
I don't know. See, I used to like Posh. She was like my fave. But now I'm leaning more towards Scary.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
She has the coolest hair.
She does have the best hair.
And she always wears animal print, which is something I definitely support. Posey's really into Spice Girls.
I love that.
She's 5.
That's amazing.
But you know, it's all like girl power stuff that I think that she should be into.
And those like really tall shoes that have like soles like that high.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of excited that the 90s like fashion is coming back. I'm really stoked.
Hopefully
I was too young. I was too young to be wearing some of the 90s garb. Yeah. And so I'm really
I was too gender
really
neutral
excited
at the time to wear any of like the fun stuff as opposed to now. Or I'm so feminine.
You wear whatever you want.
I do.
I'm starting to wear whatever I want. I don't care what people think. I'm gonna wear it.
Well, someone's gonna have an opinion no matter what you wear, so you might as well just do what you want.
Well, and none of that's your business.
It's true.
Like what is that quote? Like, what other people think of you is none of your business. I love that one.
And I always like dress for the job you want, which is some days like business casual lumberjack or business casual mermaid or I don't know. Really
and when you're the resident unicorn, you can literally wear whatever you want to.
Yes. Gotta evolve. Okay, so I have some questions for you.
Well, what were you talking about before that I wanted to chime in and I got distracted with my Spice Girl shirt?
Oh, I have questions.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of them are questions that you get asked often.
Oh, right.
Whether it's like on social media or when you do talks and things like that, because Catherine is like on the event circuit. It's amazing. Just like talking to everybody and doing interviews everywhere.
I could talk to a brick wall. I just enjoy learning about people, like learning about what their stories are, and I love to come up with the common grounds. I mean, what do I have common? I can find something that I have in common with anybody. I mean, we went to last Wednesday, I went with the League of Women Voters to the UN, and it was so much fun. I was, the youngest person on the bus. It was a bunch of like amazing old ladies. They're all old ladies, but they're all retired. They have this time to like invest themselves in philanthropy and going and doing these like things. And the conversation came up like, how do we get more young people involved? This is so much fun. I mean, it was like a whole tour and a briefing on climate change and lunch at the UN. Like it was so cool. And I was like, there should be more of my age people here. I'm 33, by the way. And I had such a great time just talking to these old people. And I was talking to somebody else. They're like, oh, I could never do that. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't. I would be like, I can't believe you took the bus. That must have been so lame. I was like, it was not lame. It was so much fun. Jackie came with me. She's another one of our members. And it was just like such a great time. And to see the UN, it was just really inspiring. The work that they're doing is just,
it's amazing.
It's important, and it's necessary, and we should all be doing our part, even though it's like individualized. They also talked about how you're an individual, you can do something. You're a group, you can do something. Like every person can do their share of helping the planet. And it's a real thing. Like, I know people still think that it's not a real thing, but it is a real thing. Yeah.
Well, people are really easily able to disconnect from that because they have like a child yelling at them or a deadline or something else. It's like so amazing, the League of Women Voters. We had an event here at Palette that was a suffragette.
Oh, yeah.
Suffragist.
Because suffragist is America.
Suffragette is like a diminutive that was used overseas in England. So we had a suffragist sash party, and I had the opportunity to be here for that and hang out with these women from the League of Women Voters. They have some stories. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I know like the youngsters are all okay boomer and kind of put down the older generations and like don't understand necessarily the relevance.
Oh, okay boomers, that's what people say?
Well, that's
like
what,
a condescending term to other people.
Like if a high schooler says to you, "Okay, boomer," they're calling you old.
Okay.
Among other things.
That's good to know. Well, that's interesting because we also have like a teen mom, not teen mom, a mom of teens group that we're gonna. Is it once a month we're getting together?
I think so, yeah.
To talk about what all the kids are saying and doing these days, so we can say that.
So everyone can understand what okay boomer means and what is a Vispo girl? What is a jewel?
Yeah, we're gonna dispel
Do you
that.
have Finsta?
Oh my God, we're gonna get those teenagers. We're gonna get on their level.
Yes, I'm very interested in youth culture. I was going somewhere with this and I completely forgot where. Oh, I was talking about the League of Women Voters. How amazing they are! So when I was here for that party,
bipartisan too.
They're like nonpartisan.
Oh,
nonpartisan.
Partisan.
They like schooled me on language, and it's the greatest thing ever.
I love being schooled on language because I always use the wrong language.
No, and we just want to know.
We learned recently powwow is another word you should not use if it's not a native or indigenous people event. So we changed that. But I'm all about educating myself on like the right terms, the right things, to not offend people, to include everyone. It's important to me.
Right. We just want to be woke.
Which means aware,
socially and culturally aware.
Yeah,
the kids taught us that.
Yeah,
the human children.
I feel better when I know more things. Don't you?
Oh, I really do. So, anyways, if you ever have a chance to talk to the League of Women Voters, they're often at they do voting drives at like farmers markets and things like that. Just ask them if they've got any good stories, because boy, do they. I don't want to repeat anything here because I don't want to steal their thunder. But I bet that was a real party bus going down to the city with them.
It was, the going down there, actually, me and Jackie got yelled at because we were talking too loud. I mean, it was early. It was like, we had to be down there at like 5:30 to then take the bus down. But it's a bus, like we were just blabbing. And
were you in the back of the bus?
We were in the back. And Jackie has a similar personality to me where we're just social, and we wanted to know everyone on the bus.
Yeah. You're like, good morning, it's 4:00. What's your name? I'm Catherine.
Well, they almost all died when I had Zia with me.
Oh,
I brought the car seat and the carrier and the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, why not bring the baby to the UN?
No. First step to the United Nations.
Yeah. Well, and it was a League of Women Voters event. Like, it was a women thing. Like, of course there was going to be a baby. Why not it be mine?
Right.
So she went. She had a great time. But what were we talking? We do. We need like an agenda and a list to go through.
We need a wrangler.
So that we
have a list and an agenda, but we need a wrangler. We can do. Oh, we were going to ask questions, and we never even got there because we're talking about like adventures and events, magic. And I agree, Renee. Catherine is a kick-ass momtrepreneur.
I had to kind of give myself a pat on the back today because Mark works 3 days a week. So on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I am doing all the things. So yesterday I had a babysitter, which was really great. Shout out to Abby, she's amazing. Also another person I could not function without. And but this morning we woke up and I was just like, I'm gonna be a pillar of positivity this morning and everything's gonna go smoothly. And it did. We got to the bus on time. We got Ruby to to the daycare on time. I had time to like come back. The baby was asleep and I could like, have some time with myself. Like by myself mean like go through emails really quick until she woke up. And it was just like, it was so cool. So I killed it this morning. Now it's the evenings that are a totally different ballgame because I have to, it's just a logistical puzzle piece that you have to just, it's overwhelming, but every day, day to day, sometimes hour to hour, we manage somehow.
It's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes minute to minute. I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
You never have to do that minute again on the bright side. So, like once you get through it, it's a brand new minute to either like explode or survive.
Right. Yeah, well, who's the guy that you were telling me about that you listened to in the morning? And he was always like, well, you woke up, so that's like the first thing you did, check it off the list.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's such a great thing. I'm going to start putting that on my lists. And because I think I also enjoy checking things off my list. Like, so I'm one of those people that will, before when I go to sit down to write a list, I'm like, what did I already do today?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and put those things on this list now so that I can just cross them off, and then I feel like so accomplished.
I think that's a really smart trick.
It's so much fun. It's a little trick. Just to it's an instant pick me up.
Exactly.
Because wake up is one of them. One of them I've started to add wake up on the list of things.
Yes. So that guy that I love, his name is Sadhguru, and Sadhguru, Sadghuru.
Okay.
And he's like this old dude, and I love it because really what he says is like, okay, you woke up today. There's like 1 million people all over the world that like died in their sleep and didn't wake up, but here you are. And he's like, okay, we'll check on the people that you love the most, and are they all alive? And if so, then there you go. You got a good start on the day. No one's dead.
Yeah.
And like sometimes things are so completely overwhelming that you just need to like acknowledge the fact and the magic and the beauty that like you're alive.
So, but what do you say to people who are like, oh my God, like, of course I'm alive. Of course I'm, but I'm still just like in the thick of it. I'm still just so overwhelmed and I'm so stressed and I need to pay the bills. And I need to What do you say to
you need a
people?
therapist because you have untreated anxiety and you don't have to feel that way. And that's what anxiety is.
So if you feel like you can't like reflect on any good or like anything like I'm alive, you need the real help.
You need to think about like yourself and understand that like you're the only person that creates your feelings and your emotions, and no one else outside of you is making that happen. And you feel that way because it's you, these are your feelings. And so like let's unpack some stuff and figure out why.
Yeah.
And also you may have untreated anxiety and need medication. Like really.
Don't you? I'm in the camp of like everyone has anxiety, so get over yourself. Everyone's anxious. Everyone's stressed. So do the work that it takes to get that unpacked. I'm also like an overdoer. So if I'm feeling really, really stressed or anxious, I would say in the beginning, went to Google, like, what do I do when I'm feeling this way? Read this book, talk to this person, listen to this podcast, journal. I mean, and I just like threw myself in. I got the therapist, I started journaling, I read the books, and I just like, I'm all in. So I can never really tell anyone what actually worked, because I just do all those things. And I know that if I stop doing one of them, it comes back. So it's something you just have to keep up with. And I was also like very intimidated by journaling. What the hell is journaling? Like, I don't freaking know I don't want to write. I'm not a writer. I don't want to say like Dear Diary. I don't do any of the Dear Diary shit. I literally make lists, like a list to do, a list that I'm like things that I'm like really stoked about in the day, and we go through it that way. And it's kind of cool when you go back like 6 months and you look at the list that you made 6 months ago and how quickly things change, right? I mean, the listing has helped me.
Lists are amazing. But I think that kind of gets to like the root of, if someone does come to me and says that they're like completely overwhelmed and like everything is completely ridiculous and they don't know where to start, you just have to do something. So even just by like Googling, like, how do I survive this moment in time? ? Enter. That's an action. That's putting you on a course of somewhere. Like, there's no right way to journal. There's no right way to meditate. There's no right way to solve a problem. You just like show up, do your best, like do something. Do you want to take a walk? Walking is amazing. Like, there's always something you can do other than allowing yourself to be frozen in a moment, like Elsa. Well, that's a tangent. I'm not going to go there. But my other point about the whole show up thing, I can remember when, I guess it was early spring, and like the way that we funded this whole project is just, myself and Mark and loans, and we have an existing business, so we use that to kind of cash flow. Okay. And we had sold our Burlington studio in January. So it was getting to the point where like we were going to need some more infrastructure resources. And I was depressed. I was feeling so stressed out and like, am I doing the right thing? Are people going to love this? Are people going to come? I'm freaking out. And I remember I was invited to this event for somebody running for office in town. And I was like, also newly pregnant because, I have a brand new baby. And I was like feeling sick, and I was like, I don't want to go to that. I'm not going to know anyone there. I don't know anybody that like, I don't like run in the circle of people who go to these campaign parties. I just like don't do that. And Mark was like, just stop it. Just stop it and go. Just show up, show your face, say hello. Once you get there, you're going to see people when you get there, you're going to talk to somebody new, and it's going to be fine. And you're going to come home, or you're probably not going to come home when you say you're going to come home because you're having so much fun. So I was like, okay, you're right. So I went. And at that event, I was just like talking to somebody that I did recognize when I got there. And she says, oh, well, let me introduce you to this person. You've got to know this person. You must go to the bank with this person. Or you do banking with this person. And ends up being the president of the bank. And I'm like, he doesn't know who I am. He's the president of the freaking bank. He doesn't know who I am. And he says, actually, I do know who you are. Anyway, it turns out it was a great lesson in showing up. You don't ever know who you're going to meet. You don't ever know who's going to like want to meet you. I just went to another event. It was a cookie party for the girl that Posey rides the bus with. And we went, and it was like every event it takes effort to get to, right? So anytime you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And so me and Posey went by ourselves to the cookie party because baby 2 or 1 or 3 was sleeping. I don't know. I can't keep it straight. So we went. And again, I was like, it was Saturday afternoon. It was all day. I had been home with the kids by myself, with all 3 of them. And because Mark was working. And I got there and I didn't know anybody. This is a child that I had never met before. She gets on the bus after Posey. So I had never met these people in my life. I just got like an email saying like, my daughter rides the bus with your daughter and she wants to invite her to a cookie party. And I was like, okay. Awesome. So we were going in blind, which I don't realize is like a really stressful situation for a lot of people going to an event or something like that. You're not going to know anybody, or you might not know anybody. So I was like even Posey was like kind of nervous. Like, I'm only going to know Aileen. I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. We're just like, well, if you don't feel comfortable, we'll leave early, whatever. So we get there and I met the most incredible people. Like one of which, Kim, she works for, now I'm going to get it wrong, but it's like the Thoroughbred Retirement Horse Foundation. Their office is like right across the street. And she's from DC. And I like blabbed with her forever. I mean, it's just like, you never know who you're going to meet.
You just got to show up. And like so much of that happens here at Palette when people just, come in the door and, there's somebody or somebody you can introduce to. It's just, it's fun. And the people walking in the door are the most fun people too. They're the types of people who want to get coffee and a smile, or like they want to leave with the sense of just like encouragement or positivity, and not just like, what do you want? What kind of coffee do you want? It's like just not what we do here.
We had a nice incident upstairs of like people connecting and not realizing that they knew each other, but they knew each other. And I'm going to tell the story without mentioning names because it's that funny. One of our members was in the bathroom and they didn't lock the door, and someone else like opened the door and they were like, oh my God, like, the feeling, like whatever. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But wait, I know you, hi. And then closed the door again. They didn't know each other was members.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But yes, it's like our greatest fear. Not even greatest, like, I don't know, third tier fear is like someone coming into the bathroom and they're like, oh wait, hey,
I know you. So let me get in there with you and like we can
we'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll
just wipe.
Yeah.
So one of the things that a lot of people ask you, and I know that you and I have talked about before, is how you show up on things like the internet and share your life, the goods and the bads and like the pretties and the stressful moments. And I think that that's something that you should talk about because I know you get a lot of feedback.
I have just, I guess I've always loved like, I've never been shy of the camera. I mean, I've never been afraid to tell like my story of like who I am and what I'm doing here, but it is just so recently where people are kind of like, you should start doing more of this. So this is actually the first time we're doing this, and I couldn't have done it by myself. So here Marcel is here to help me hold my hand. But I just have gotten so much positive feedback after sharing my story and sharing the journey of Palette and Paint and Sip and like becoming a mom. And it just, there are people out there who need to hear this because they are maybe scared to death to share their story, or they think they're alone. And so I think that if there's like one person that hears my story, becomes inspired or doesn't or whatever, or makes them feel just an ounce of better, then who am I to disservice them? Like, it's a disservice not to put myself out there. It makes me feel better to share. It makes other people feel good to share. And I think that is all what we're here for, right? To feel better.
And I think there's something powerful about putting your authentic self out there. So it's not always like my perfect Instagram pose. Like sometimes you're having a really bad day. And I think that's something that you've really excelled at, is just being able to say, I'm having a really bad day and my head just exploded, but I'm here.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay, guys.
Well, I remember I did like the Women at Work interview, like right after we opened Palette, and somebody was like, man, it just seems like you have it all together and you're doing everything. And I was like, girlfriend, don't get it twisted. I cried 3 times this morning and on the way here. Like I had to redo makeup that I had taken the time to do in between all the other things. Like I cry every day. I cry here all the time too. It's normal.
Just when you need to.
It's normal to feel shitty sometimes. And it's just, it's how you come back from it that is the most important part. And it's hard. Life can be so hard. And I even had this conversation, I don't know who I was talking to, but like my life, like there's a lot going on, but I don't have it so bad. There's always something to look at and say, wow, I'm really grateful, and I haven't been through like a lot, there's still a lot to get through. So if I can't keep it together and keep going when it's going well, right? It seems like everything's going well, everything's great. Like how am I going to manage when it's time to, put the dog down? Or like that was like one experience in my life that I was totally unexpected, and did not prepare myself for that experience. I mean, it was devastating, but it's like life happens. It's not always rainbows and sunshine. It's not always easy. I would say for the most part it's hard. But what makes it easier is to have this support people like that you can just tap into whenever you need it. It's so important. And there's no shame in asking for help because I want to help. You want to help. People want to help. People love helping.
It's powerful.
So let us help you. And then you help us too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's, like that's another thing that's happening upstairs is, you don't even realize like the resources that come together when you have a collective of people who are so diverse. Like I have to dispel that like people come to me and they're like, oh, is it just a bunch of young girls? And it's like, no, absolutely not. I mean, I don't want to give everyone's age around here, but I would say, I don't even know how old is the oldest. We have to figure this out. We have to figure out.
Everybody's 21 plus some anniversaries of the 21st birthday.
We're going to figure out like the median age or something, but because it's absolutely, I'm not the norm. You know, I would say like 50s.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Between 50 and
40s
60 years old.
And 60s.
Yeah, established women in their careers who have so much experience and so much wisdom to dispel on me. And then we do have some younger girls, like Sarah's young, Rachel's young, starting out their businesses, and one's new to the area, so that is a surprising thing also. I thought when I opened up the upstairs, there was going to be a bunch of remote workers who work from home, who just need a place to work from. And it's like, no, all the people who are upstairs it's not that they don't care about this physical space, because they do. Some of them do need physical space, but I would say the majority are people who just want to support one another, like truly want to be in a community built from the ground up, from the very start, to support one another. It's so much fun.
It is so much fun. The community is exceptional.
And it's no bullshit. I'm not like, if you want to come check it out, come check it out. If you don't, like, you go find your people, But it's like these people have just found me, and I am so grateful and humbled by, like, the diversity that Dr. Jess is going to kill me because I always use Dr. Jess. Dr. Jess and I could not be more, like, different, right? In my opinion, I'm just like, what do I have in common with Dr. Jess? And I freaking love her.
I love her too.
And
we love you, Dr. Jess.
We love you, Dr. Jess, if you're watching. Oh man, she joined the first day out of nowhere. I'd never met her before in my life, and it just kind of all the things resonated, And it's, again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. It's like, you are just a blip in everyone else's day, right? Like, but the blip, I want to be the happy blip. I want to be like, oh, I saw Catherine's day and she really cheered me up, or, and that's what I want Palette to be. And people know that they need it. So that's why they show up. They're not coming for the coffee. I mean, the coffee's good.
It's exceptional.
Local
also.
Roaster, very good. We have a custom blend, the bougie blend. But they're getting so much more than that. It's literally not just coffee and scones. People get here for it. Come check us out. We're the real deal. I mean, we're working so hard,
Yeah.
Everybody is.
They really are. We have a great team here and a great membership. It's the best.
Oh, you're not supposed to look at yourself. I keep looking at myself and smiling because this is kind of fun. But you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to look at the camera. I'll work on that next time.
One of the things that I want to just also address about our membership, we were talking about the diversity. We've got some dudes. We've got some woke dudes in our membership. So even though there is kind of like a feminine trend here, there are woke men, and they have a lot of the same needs that the women do, and they show up for a lot of the same events and for the same, like, emotional and professional reasons that everyone else does. And it's kind of amazing.
It really is.
I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Like, that's what, like, I always love talking to people and asking them. Like,
Lorraine's coming on Tuesday, she said.
Yeah.
Hi, Lorraine.
We love you. She's so fun.
So Betty's Cakes.
Yeah.
Betty's so Cakes. Good. And she also dresses up like the most incredible
cosplay.
Okay, so this is like another realm or genre that I don't know anything about, so I'm not offending, but like she literally looks like, I saw a picture of her dressed like Poison Ivy, and I was like, wait a minute. What?
She is Poison Ivy.
And Harley Quinn, is that the name?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So cool.
You inspire us, Lorraine.
It just looks so good. And then she also makes cupcakes, and they're delicious.
They're beautiful and delicious. I don't even know what I was
She used to
talking
have a double
about. I
decker
know
bus
I'm thinking about
too,
cupcakes. It's like
which
the
I used to
best.
love all the time.
Oh,
Like
that
see
bus.
driving around, it's like a big
Yes.
double decker buses, ping to ping.
Mhm.
So cool.
Stylized and magical.
Which
I love
reminds me of Spice World
Mhm.
because they had a bus.
Everything comes back to Spice
Maybe
World.
we need a bus or something. I don't need to go anywhere else, but
Just need a bus.
a bus.
If we can just have a bus. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. That's what's so scary about it. So we're gonna do this every Thursday at 11.
Yeah, I can do that.
I think it was fun.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
I think that there's a lot to unpack here, so
Mhm.
we should do it. We should do it every Thursday at 11.
I could do that. I could be here. I think that would be amazing. And the showing up thing is like so big. So we're gonna show up.
Yeah, we'll show up every Thursday at 11
Same time,
a.m.
same place, guys.
I don't know if we'll still be here. We might be in the phone booth, or we might be like upstairs. We may. We're gonna switch it up. Unpredictable. Wait, what does this say? I just said, but be anything but predictable. That's me. Be anything but predictable. So I don't know where we'll be. But we'll be here on
We
the
will be
live
here.
thing.
On the internet.
I love
The
the World Wide Web.
One of the things you can do if you have questions for Catherine or questions for me or questions about like life or anything, business, personal, love poems, you can send them to us on Facebook. We can answer them every week. And if you want to be super looped into everything that we're doing here at Palette, you should absolutely get looped in on our email list on our website. So if you go to thepalettecafe.com, as soon as you get there, it'll be like, I would like to loop you in. Would you like to put your email address right here? And then you just do it. So you just go to thepalettecafe.com. If you can't remember that, just go to the website. It's like all there. Or wait, the Facebook page. And then the website is on the Facebook page. Got a little ahead of myself there. And that will loop you into our email list. And that includes special messages from Catherine. We send out emails about our amazing events that we do here in the cafe and upstairs, which are amazing. I'm just going to
We have a story
flush
slam
my
coming.
hair back like
I'm
that,
excited
yes.
about that story slam. I cannot wait for that.
Oh, I can't either. That's going to be amazing. We're doing a monthly story series starting in 2020. We have all sorts of events that are designed specifically for our members, and then we have public events. I host a true crime every Wednesday night. If you're into true crime, we have a recipe swap coming up this Friday, and that's a monthly thing. And I mean, whatever you can imagine, we do it. We have a book club. It's amazing. We have 2 book clubs actually.
Yeah,
Fiction
we
and
just added
nonfiction.
nonfiction because I like the right? I like nonfiction.
Yeah.
I get these again, with the like brain, mom brain
Mhm.
one, it has morphed into just like,
Listen, you got a lot. You have like
Scattered.
balls in the air.
but I like the self-help. I'm a zealot for it. Like I read a self-help book, I feel awesome, and I want to tell the whole world about it.
Yes.
So we added that book club
Yeah.
genre.
The Catherine book club. But I read it too.
Yeah.
I read everything. I'm like pretty nerdy. So yeah, we're stoked to do this every week. And like I said, loop yourself in on the website, get on the email list, get all sorts of happy nuggets and like happenings and all of that good stuff.
And Instagram, we're also on Instagram. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can follow Marcel on Instagram. She does a lot of fun
Mhm.
selfies.
Terribly attractive.
Yeah.
Flattering
And then we're the
selfies.
Palette Cafe
Yes.
on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. And you can follow Catherine on Instagram too. She's way more
I'm just
entertaining than
Catherine
me.
Hover.
Yeah.
You're Marhammer time?
Marhammer time.
Marhammer time.
Yes. Marhammer time.
I remember when I was starting my Instagram like page like way back when, and I was like, ooh, what should my name be? I'm like, my name should be what my name is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. I don't have anything special, unique, or sassy. It's just my name.
Mine's pretty. It is hammer time always. So
Oh, hi Trisha.
hello.
This is
Hello,
so much
everyone.
fun.
No, this is fun.
It's so interactive.
It's so much less scary than I thought.
I know. What were you so? What was I scared about? I was so scared to do this
Same.
because there's no like review. Like
Mhm.
this is like in real life,
Mhm.
in real time, live.
But we did it.
We did it,
We did it.
and now it's time to end it
Yes.
because we can't take any more of these people's
No.
time. I
We'll
think we're
miss
done.
you.
We will miss you, but we'll see you next week. I'm so excited.
Bye, friends.
Bye.